Hey, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, going to be installing an attic dormer door. So, do an install and review of the new door I got. I'm replacing a door in an attic knee wall. I'm in a room above a garage. So, here's my little attic space here. Fixed insulation, installed lighting, decking for storage. But it makes this room uncomfortable because of this door. It's just a cabinet style door, super thin. And I've tried weather stripping it with foam. And I was thinking about putting some insulating foam block on the back, but this is really just not the right style of door for an attic space. So I purchased this door. I wanted to shout out the company, Curb Appeal Products. I found them online. Not a lot of people make custom doors like this. You can't really get them locally. So I emailed them, got in contact with the owner, and had this door made to what I wanted. So it is a legit pre-hung door, made to my specs, solid door, exterior grade door with weather stripping, and had it mortised for a knob, the swing, the size, everything I spec'd. They made it for me. It looks great. I was really happy dealing with that company. So I'll leave a link to Curb Appeal Products company in the comments or in the description if you want to get a door made. But basically all I had to do was measure my rough framing opening size, and they made the new pre-hung door to that spec. So let's go ahead and get started with the install. Gotta rip this old door off. So it looks like they just installed some looks like 1x3 around the frame on top of the drywall. So I'm gonna pry all this existing trim framing off. Original measurements on the wall from 35 years ago. It's too bad they didn't really care about insulation and energy efficiency back then, but we're gonna fix it. So next thing I'm gonna do, so my hinge side is on the left, so I want to see how level my hinge side is. Well, it looks pretty good. So it's actually pretty level already, so I don't need to pre-shim anything. So next I'm just going to set the frame in. I'll probably do a couple shims on the bottom to start, but no shims on the side because the hinge side where I'm going to actually attach it first is pretty plumb. So let's get my tools out of the way and we will get this door fitted up in the opening, in the framing. I just have a pack of standard wood shims from the hardware store. I'm just setting 2 on the bottom to initially give me some spacing, because if you butt up the bottom, so I do want the door to be as low as possible for ease of access into the space, but if you butt it up onto the framing, which I put the level on, it is a little bit out. It's a little low on this side, so I'll probably need a shim here and not here, but the shim will give me some spacing initially where all the weight is bearing to be able to adjust it and get everything square and plumb. But you pick up the door and shove it in. It is heavy. It is a solid door, finger jointed, solid wood framing, but let's get it in. So door is set in. Again, I favored the left side because I want to center the door better in this wall. So I'm going to have to shim this side, but this is not the latch side. It's not as important anyway. What I really want to get plumb and level across the bottom is this side that supports the door. So all I really did was got the middle flush with the drywall here and put a 3-inch construction screw in to initially hold it, and then I just shot a couple brad nails, 2-inch brad nails in here to hold it in place so I can work. But now I'm going to check for level on this and put in a couple more screws and shims as needed and get this whole left hinge side plumb to the framing. So I was able to sneak a shim in down here at the bottom to bring the bottom over, and just held it in place with a brad nail and got it in a little bit. It wasn't much, so I can't get the shims in very far, but now I'm perfectly plumb there and perfectly plumb there. I don't know if you can see that bubble, but Now it's good. So I'm going to put that bottom screw back in and also put a screw about where my shims are. I'll do that screw first. All right, got that screw in and then added another one here near the hinges. And now the top of my door, I don't know if that'll focus. The door is perfectly level. It doesn't swing anywhere. So really happy with that. That's how you know that the hinge side is what's critical to get plumb. So I do have some gaps where it's tight on this side, but again, this side isn't screwed in yet. So this side looks good, even gap. Again, I showed you this earlier. I have to adjust this side. But before I do any of that, I'm actually going to install the latch, striker, and doorknob, so I know the door is actually where it's going to be in the casing. So let's get that knob installed real quick. The knob is in, door is working. So now I need to get the bottom, top, and this side attached. I'm going to attach this side first. The gap is just a little bit bigger than 2 overlap shims, but I do want this side of the framing to move over ever so slightly to match this gap closer to that gap. So I'm going to just do the 2 shims. These are just held in place with a brad nail right now. Try putting a screw in very lightly and see what it gives me. So I'll put one in here first and then do some shims on the top and bottom and screws in and see what I get. The rest of my shims in and 3 screws on this side. And again, I do the shims from each side so they're more level as they go through. But top and bottom is shimmed as well. I don't have any screws in the top and bottom. I'm going to put 2 in the top and bottom. But still just checking door fitment as I go. And pretty happy with everything. But the door is tight in this top right corner and a little low in this corner. And I think that's just because of the hinge. This is something common you need to do anyway. So because my framing is all square, plumb, and level to itself in the casing, because I've checked everything, I'm going to take out the middle hinge screw, which these are just short little screws going into the casing, and I'm going to sink in one of these 3-inch construction screws. So this goes through the casing and into the 2x4 framing. I already moved it. Let me check it real quick. Look at that. Much better. This is a trick I've done for interior doors for a while. It's putting a 3-inch screw into the framing and like the top hinge. Snug that a little bit. Mo better. Liking my gaps all around. Everything clearances. Really happy with that. So I'll put 2 screws in the top and the bottom where these shins are. Again, I already have the 3 in this wall. 2, 3. And then we're done with installing the door. Alright, screws are in the top and bottom. Everything is square, plumb, and level. The casing is flush with the drywall all around. Pre-hung doors installed. Now to do the finishing touches, first I gotta cut all my shims out. Just gonna use my oscillating tool. So that completes the door install. Went really well. Happy with how it turned out. Really easy to install. But if you want to see all the finish work, so all the trim, insulating around the edges, keep watching. So I already sanded this hard line from the old paint and old trim. I did some joint compound texturing with a paintbrush to match the swirl pattern. I have on this wall. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the door down off the hinges so I can prime and paint the door. I'm painting it the same color, antique white, as the other doors in the room. Alright, priming is done. I only had the spray can for this oil-based primer. Otherwise, you could brush it or roll it. So this will be dry in about an hour, ready to paint. So while that's drying, let's head back in the room. I'm going to work on casing the door frame. So I'm putting duct tape around the door casing to the drywall everywhere to help air seal it. And then I'm going to seal it from the back with either silicone or spray foam. But if you just put your wood casing up, chances are you're not going to air seal this. So I'm using Nashua 557 class 1 duct tape. This sticks to drywall and wood really well. So I'm sealing it all up. So there you can see the duct tape, and I made sure to leave it far enough from the edge because there will be a slight reveal with the door trim. So but that gives you a really good air seal, and then I'll be able to spray foam the gap from behind to seal it up. But I'm repurposing, so you can go buy window and door casing. That's what the mold or trim that goes around your door window opening is. But I'm matching what I have. So I have some extra of this from projects in other parts of the house that I'm going to go cut up to fit around this. So let's go do that. Like I said, I'm repurposing existing trim. I have it marked my right and left sides with 45 miters cut, and I'm just using my Stanley miter box to cut these. Nothing fancy. I've had this box forever. But yeah, let's go test fit these up. I already measured what they needed to be and just cut them to matching lengths for each side. And then I'm going to use the offcuts to help line them up before I cut the top and bottom. So your latch here kind of gives you an off spacing anyway from your casing. So I only shot a nail or two in the top and then used another cut, even though it's reversed. It shows me that I can get my miters to close with an even gap from here to here. And then I did the same on the bottom, and then I use the level this. Oh, it's already perfectly level. So, and I have an even reveal on it, so I'm going to go ahead and nail this piece in. This should be good. I'm going to repeat the process for the other side. Again, I have my hinges here, so that's establishing some of my gap, but I'm just going to match the gap I already established. And this miter is lining up with the miter in the casing box too. All right, 24.5, and I did hit up the back of my miters with the sander to clearance them a little bit. So we gotta go like a glove. Oh yeah, she fits. It's pretty good for me. I'm happy with that. Let's nail it in. Ain't gonna complain about that. Pretty good. This one's a little looser, but not bad. I have to fix, this is reused trim, so I have to wood fill. This will get wood filled in all these holes and sanded and refinished anyway. I'm happy with that. So let's measure and cut the bottom one. Bottom is cased, Pretty happy with that. Good fitment. So the primer should be dried. Let's go grab that, clean it off, and start painting the door. And then after I paint the door and that starts drying, we'll come work on sealing the back side of the door frame. So for the big sides, big gaps, I'm going to use spray foam. But like for this gap on the side, because I butted it up as tight as I could, I'm just going to seal this with caulk. Alright, filled that all up with spray foam. Just going to let it do its thing, expand out and dry, and then I'll trim it. Spray foam is completely dry. I am in an attic space. This step's probably not necessary, but I am going to clean it up flush with my oscillating tool. You could use a razor blade too. Alright, hit all the wood putty with the darker espresso stain. I also ran the stain on the Q-tip on the reveal, just to darken that a little bit. And now I'm going to immediately hit it with some Howard Restore finish in mahogany. And just applying it with some steel wool. Let's see what we get. I love this Howard Restore finish. Takes off scratches, restores old trim really nice. So it's already looking much better. So you just apply this with steel wool and then wipe it off with a cloth. So let's get this going. Got the door back outside to dry. I did 2 coats with a foam roller and it was looking too smooth. Because this is a solid door, I wanted some texture in it. So I hand painted, I don't know if you're gonna pick it up, but I hand painted with a paintbrush just in one long line to give it that wood grain that most doors have. So this is dry now. Let's get the door reinstalled. Door is reinstalled, and I did adjust. It's got the little pry to adjust the tightness of your door. You just stick a flat tip in there. So I pulled it out. So I adjusted the overall tightness so it's compressing that weather stripping without being too tight. So now we got the same look, same door color and trim to match the other doors in the room. And I can move on to finishing my remodel project and painting these walls and finishing this fireplace feature wall. And I should mention, I'm just a DIY guy. I have no construction or carpentry experience. I'm self-taught, and this is only my second time installing a pre-hung door, and it went super smooth. You know, every once in a while you have like a really good interaction with a small business, and the whole process was amazing. So Curb Appeal Products, I really love my door. Install was easy. From getting the specs, communication, I was quoted, 2 weeks to build and deliver. Morning of the 10th day it arrived. It was extremely well packaged, in pristine condition, and install went super easy. So I'm really happy with it. It's going to fix my issues with comfort in this room, and I have a nice exterior sealed door for my attic space. So yeah, I'll leave a link down to Curb Appeal Products in the description if you're looking to get a custom dormer door made for you. All right, thanks for watching this one. Bye.